Most women don't walk away from a relationship because of one big dramatic betrayal. No, it's usually the small everyday behaviors that eat away at them. The ones so subtle, so common that you almost convince yourself they are normal. That's what makes them dangerous. Because when toxic behaviors look like regular relationship struggles, you stop questioning them. You start adapting. You tell yourself, this is just how men are. This is just how love works. And before you know it, you are stuck in something that's breaking you down piece by piece. This video is not about the obvious red flags everybody talks about: cheating, physical abuse, or ghosting. No. This is about the hidden patterns that disguise themselves as normal but are slowly stealing your joy, your peace, and your self-worth. And I want you to pay close attention, because if the man you are with is doing these 5 things, it's not just a rough patch. It's not something to fix with more patience or love. These are signs you need to leave, and leave quick before the damage becomes permanent. By the end of this video, you won't just recognize the behaviors. You will understand why they are so destructive, how they trap you emotionally, and most importantly, how to reclaim your power before it's too late. So let's get into it. Number 1, he consistently disrespects your boundaries. If a man keeps crossing your boundaries, whether emotional, physical, or personal, you need to take that as a serious red flag. Boundaries are not optional. They are the lines that protect your peace, your dignity, and your sense of self. A man who ignores or pushes past them is not loving you, he's controlling you. A healthy relationship requires respect for each other's limits. When you say no and he pressures you until you give in, that's not persistence, that's disrespect. When you ask for space and he treats it as rejection, he is telling you he values his comfort over your needs. Over time, constant disrespect for your boundaries erodes your sense of safety. It conditions you to shrink yourself just to keep the peace. That's not love. It's emotional suffocation. Picture this. You tell him you don't like being yelled at during arguments, but every disagreement turns into shouting because that's just how he is. Or maybe you've said you are not ready to share certain passwords or details yet, but he keeps pushing, accusing you of hiding something. Or imagine you simply want a night with your friends, but he guilt trips you until you cancel. This may seem like small compromises at first, but they pile up, and before you know it, you are living in a relationship where your voice no longer matters. When a man repeatedly ignores your boundaries, what he is really doing is teaching you that your feelings are secondary, that what matters most is keeping him happy, even if it means betraying yourself. And the danger is, many women start normalizing this. You begin to doubt yourself. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe this is just how relationships are. That self-doubt is the first step toward losing your identity in a relationship. And once your boundaries collapse, so does your power to walk away. The truth is, a man who truly loves and respects you will honor your boundaries even if he doesn't fully understand them. He won't shame you for setting them. He won't test them to see how far he can go. He will value them because they protect not just you, but the relationship itself. So if you are with a man who treats your boundaries as suggestions to be negotiated rather than rules to be respected, don't wait for it to get better. Leave him quick, because love without respect isn't love, it's manipulation. Number 2, he tears you down instead of lifting you up. If the man you are with makes you feel smaller instead of stronger, you need to pause and pay attention. A partner should be your biggest supporter, not your sharpest critic. When he constantly belittles you, whether through harsh words, subtle jabs, or jokes at your expense, that's not love. That's emotional sabotage. Criticism in a relationship is not automatically toxic. Sometimes constructive feedback can help us grow, but there's a difference between feedback and ridicule. A man who values you will address issues with care, respect, and solutions. A man who doesn't will use every opportunity to chip away at your self-esteem. Why? Because lowering your confidence makes it easier for him to keep control. The more you doubt yourself, the more dependent you become on his validation, even though he's the one destroying it in the first place. Imagine you put effort into your appearance for a night out, and instead of complimenting you, he says, "That dress makes you look cheap." Or maybe you share an idea you are excited about, and he laughs, saying, "You are not smart enough for that." It could even be subtle, making jokes about your weight in front of friends, or rolling his eyes whenever you speak. This may come wrapped as humor, but deep down, you know this thing. Over time, those things turn into scars. Words carry weight, and when the man you love uses them to tear you down, it creates invisible wounds. You start second guessing your worth. You wonder if you're overreacting, if maybe you should toughen up. But here's the emotional trap. You begin to crave his approval even more, hoping that one day he will finally say something kind. That cycle of hate and hope is what keeps so many women stuck. And the longer you stay, the more you start to believe his version of you instead of your own. Here's the reality. Love should not feel like walking on eggshells, waiting for the next insult disguised as honesty. A healthy man builds your confidence, he doesn't crush it. He celebrates your strength, he doesn't mock them. If his words leave you feeling smaller every day, then you don't need to explain it away or wait for him to change. The most loving thing you can do for yourself is walk away, because the right man will never compete with your shine, he will protect it. Number 3, he lies to you, big or small. If a man cannot be honest with you, he cannot build with you. Lies, whether small white lies or big betrayals, are cracks in the foundation of trust. And without trust, a relationship is nothing more than a house that looks good on the outside but is rotten on the inside. Some women overlook little lies, thinking, at least he's not cheating, at least he's not doing something terrible. But here's the thing, lies grow. What begins as a simple, I forgot to mention this, can slowly become, I hid this on purpose because I knew how you would feel. Dishonesty is not about the size of the lie, it's about the choice to conceal the truth. When a man chooses dishonesty, he's choosing his comfort over your trust. That should never be acceptable in a relationship built on love. Picture this. He says he's working late, but you later find out from a friend he was out at a bar. Or he insists he's not texting his ex, but you see her name pop up on his phone. Or maybe it's Mola. He says he paid a bill, but he didn't. He says he's fine, but he's hiding anger. Each of these lies chips away at your ability to feel safe with him. And eventually, you are left questioning not just his words, but your own sanity. Am I imagining things? Am I being too suspicious? That confusion is exactly how lies poison love. Being lied to is more than betrayal. It's destabilizing. It makes you feel like you can't trust your own judgment. You start overanalyzing everything, replaying conversations in your head, scanning for red flags you might have missed. That kind of emotional hypervigilance is exhausting. It drains your energy, it steals your peace, and it replaces intimacy with suspicion. No woman deserves to live in a relationship where love feels like a guessing game. The truth is simple. Honesty is not a favor, it's a requirement. A man who truly values you will guard your trust fiercely. He will tell the truth even when it's uncomfortable, because he knows trust is the glue that holds love together. If he lies to you repeatedly, it's not a mistake, it's a pattern. And patterns don't disappear overnight. That's why when you catch yourself in a relationship where lies have become the norm, you don't wait for him to change. You protect your peace, you walk away, because love without trust is just an illusion. Number 4, he drains you emotionally but never gives back. A man who constantly takes from you emotionally but never pours back into you is not a partner. He is a parasite. Relationships are meant to be give and take, but if you are always the one listening, soothing, encouraging, and supporting while he gives you little to nothing in return, that imbalance is dangerous. It means he sees you as an emotional resource, not as a woman he values. Here's why this matters. Emotional reciprocity is the heartbeat of intimacy. When you are always there to comfort him, but he's nowhere to be found when you are hurting, the relationship becomes one-sided. You start carrying both your weight and his, and carrying someone else's emotional baggage without any support of your own leads to exhaustion, resentment, and eventually burnout. A healthy man doesn't just receive love, he gives it back in equal measure. Picture this. You've had the roughest day at work. You just want to talk, to vent, to feel heard. But when you try, he cuts you off and somehow makes the conversation about his stress. Or maybe you are going through a family crisis and instead of showing up for you, he goes ghost only to reappear when he needs encouragement for his own problems. Or imagine a subtle dream. He dumps his frustrations on you daily, but when you cry, he rolls his eyes and says you are too emotional. That kind of dynamic slowly breaks you down because it teaches you that your feelings don't matter. When you are always the one pouring into him but never being refilled, you begin to feel invisible. You start questioning your worth. Am I asking for too much? Maybe I should just be stronger. Over time, you lose your emotional energy and your joy. The sad part, many women mistake this kind of imbalance for loyalty, thinking, if I just keep loving him harder, he will eventually give back. But the truth is, love doesn't work that way. You can't heal someone who refuses to give love in return. you only end up wounding yourself. A man who truly loves you will not let you carry the weight of the relationship alone. He will notice when you are drained. He will listen, comfort, and pour into you, not perfectly, but consistently. That's what real partnership looks like. If you find yourself emotionally empty because he's always taking and never giving, that's not a relationship. It's exploitation dressed up as love. Don't convince yourself to stay. Leave him quick, because the right man will not just receive your love, he will protect your heart and replenish it too. Number 5, he uses control and manipulation to keep you close. If a man constantly controls you, where you go, who you see, how you dress, or even how you think, that's not love, that's control. And when he adds manipulation, using guilt, gaslighting, or emotional blackmail to keep you from leaving, you are no longer in a relationship, you are in a cage. A man who truly loves you don't trap you, he frees you. Control and manipulation are subtle at first. He might say, I just care about you, when questioning where you are. He might guilt trip you for spending time with family or friends, saying, if you really loved me, you would stay. Or he might twist your words until you question your own memory. That's gaslighting. These tactics are not about love, they are about power. The more he controls your decisions and emotions, the less you trust yourself. And once you stop trusting yourself, it becomes harder to imagine life without him. That's exactly how manipulators keep women stuck. Imagine this. You are excited about a new job offer, but instead of celebrating, he convinces you not to take it, saying, it will take time away from us. Or maybe you plan to meet friends, but he picks a fight so intense you cancel your plan just to keep the peace. Or perhaps every disagreement ends with him threatening to leave, making you beg him to stay. So he wins by keeping you in fear. These scenarios might not leave bruises, but they leave invisible scars. And those scars run deep. Being controlled and manipulated slowly breaks down your identity. You start to feel like a shell of the woman you used to be. Your confidence fades, your circle of support shrinks, and your world becomes smaller and smaller until he's the center of it. That's the danger. You stop recognizing yourself and you start believing the lie that you need him more than he needs you. But the truth is, no love should make you feel trapped, silenced, or powerless. That's not love. It's control wearing love's mask. Here's the bottom line. Real love empowers. It doesn't imprison. A man who values you will respect your freedom, your voice, and your choices. He will never use guilt or fear to keep you by his side. So if you find yourself constantly manipulated into staying, second-guessing your reality, sacrificing your dreams for his comfort, don't wait for a miracle. Walk away. Quickly. Because the longer you stay in a relationship built on control, the harder it becomes to reclaim your freedom. But the moment you leave, you begin to find yourself again. You see, the danger isn't always in the big, obvious betrayals. It's in the small, everyday behaviors that we brush off as normal. The boundary crossing, the constant criticism, the lies, the emotional drain, the subtle manipulation. Each of these might look harmless at first, but together, they create a slow erosion of who you are. And by the time you realize how much you've lost, it can feel almost impossible to walk away. But here's the truth. You don't have to wait until it destroys you. You don't have to explain away behaviors that cut into your dignity. You don't have to call pain love just because it's familiar. The right man won't make you feel small. He won't confuse you, silence you, or drain you. He will make your world bigger, your peace deeper, and your spirit lighter. So don't let what's common become your standard. Don't let normal convince you to settle for less than respect, honesty, and love that protects your heart. And if you are watching this and you see yourself in any of these situations, remember, walking away isn't failure. Walking away is freedom. It's choosing yourself, your future, and the kind of love you truly deserve. Because at the end of the day, love should not feel like survival. Love should feel like home.